The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, it's me. It's Nikki Glaser. Welcome to the podcast. I just said Billie is a sex slave for the second part of the song because it's an old joke with all my girlfriends that
Who's Billie?
Billie is Sarah Lena's dog. And one time it was just wearing a leather collar and all the girls were doing the podcast together and we were starting the podcast and we were kind of just singing it like as Noah was setting up. All the girls were kind of just like singing the theme song over and over. And then at one point, Taylor McGraw saw Billie with like, she was just like, scratching Billie's head and saw the leather collar and said, Billie is a sex slave because the leather collar. And then it stuck. And so whenever we're on the girls chat and Sarah Lena's talking about Billie, she's like, so sex slave has just been throwing up all over the house. She just calls her dog sex slave now with there's no humor behind the saying
no one would get it but you guys.
Yeah, but she's just like, I'm so sad, scared sex slave is going to die. Like we just call it sex slave now.
She's a senior dog.
Well, is he old?
Yeah, Billie Holiday.
I just assumed it was a boy.
You would. Billie's a boy's name generally.
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
Billie. Yeah, I always remember the Clueless joke that I never understood until later, where Cher, the girl in Clueless, gets picked up by the gay guy that she has a crush on, but she doesn't know he's gay, but everyone else does. And in the 90s when I saw that, I did not know he was gay either. But she has this crush on this guy who's clearly gay. And he picks her up and he's playing, and she goes, who is it? And he's playing Billie Holiday. She's like, who is this? And he goes, Billie Holiday. And she goes, oh, I love him. And then and I didn't even understand that joke until later. She also said, she's giving a speech in her class, and she was like, I believe we should let the Haitians come here instead of Haitians. And apparently I watched like a behind the music about it, that movie, and she did not, they didn't plan for her to say Haitians, but the actress, Alicia Silverstone, didn't know how to pronounce it. And they were like, that's perfect. Keep it in. No one tell her. So I always remember those two things. Anyway, so Billie is a sex slave. My mom is here, everyone. She's in studio. Julie Glaser, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nick.
Brian Frangie is here in Los Angeles via satellite.
That's right.
What's up, Brian? Brian just got off the phone. He had a very important call, and we all kind of like listened to his side of it. And then
we're all curious, sure.
And then he said, "Oh, that was great news." And I go, "What happened? Wait, save it for the podcast." So, what was that call about? I think it's about your car.
That's 100% correct.
Okay, but also I heard a woman's voice on the other line, and usually women aren't telling you about your car.
That's
no
also,
shade to women.
No shade to women. We don't want to throw shade to women. They can be mechanics too.
No, I want to throw shade at them because SPF protection is important for anti-aging. So much shade on all women because youth is key. Okay, what happened?
Well, I had a malfunction in my car airbag, which is like a safety issue, and I haven't been able to get it fixed.
You look like you got hit by an airbag today.
Yeah, well,
did you do anything with your hair? Oh my god! Please, I just want to draw people to the YouTube channel.
This is how we get people to look at the YouTube channel. What does Brian's hair look like today? I don't comb my hair.
We'll do something with it. You have great hair.
I gotta get it cut.
I don't comb it. I do the wake up and I just mess it
I don't
up.
comb my hair either. So.
I don't either, but okay. So anyway,
wait, really?
Airbag issue.
I don't know what I would be able to do with it.
Well, you just like run a comb through it and you kind of like make it just looks a little like you slept on it.
I think he should gel it back.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to slick it back. I'll never slick it back. I'm not Italian.
All right.
It would look good.
Subaru is my car company, and I'm usually a big fan of Subaru. And this airbag broke. And I'm driving my future wife to Colorado for our wedding next month. And the airbag needs to work. She's going to be sitting in the passenger seat. And the airbag, this could be a disaster. So So
did you know it doesn't work because it gave a little light or something?
When someone's sitting in the passenger seat, it says passenger airbag off. And then the airbag warning light's on. So it's like my airbag will work, but hers won't.
Yeah. You can just quickly bring her to your side if you see a crash coming.
If I see a crash coming, I'll just pull her over.
Yeah.
And so I brought it to the Subaru dealership, and everybody knows that dealerships are not very helpful, and they're super expensive, and they make you wait a long time, and overall shitty experience. This one in particular is complaining of staff shortages and all this stuff, and they told me that there was no problem. That they couldn't find a problem with the car. They can't run a diagnostic. They told me all this shit.
Have someone get in the passenger seat and start the car and you'll hear the alert.
They refused.
What?
They said, we're not sitting in your passenger seat. And I was like, that's the only way to get the alert. They refused.
Okay. And so then what?
I took it to an independent mechanic, an incredible mechanic, Complete Automotive Systems in Palms, if you ever are living in that area. And they sat in the passenger seat with me. They talked me through it. They got the diagnostic, and they found out that
Sounds romantic.
I mean, I feel like I have like a little romantic relationship with this guy. He's such a good mechanic. You know,
isn't it nice when you find someone who finally fixes your problem? You honestly feel romantic feelings for them.
Yes, and I think it's with mechanics. It's the same thing with like a barber or a stylist. It's like once you find one, you're committed.
Never let it go.
Yeah, because it's so hard to do it, and and they could be sleazy. Like everything about the industry could be. They don't have to be good, and so it's so nice when you find one. I'm happy that you found a guy that
finally
you can have
found
this
a
lifelong
guy.
relationship with.
Yes.
Aren't you worried about him being in that passenger seat now? With a
Well, we agreed that he's allowed to see other cars, so it's just, you know.
You guys have an open thing.
Yeah, an open mechanic.
That's good.
So anyway, Subaru just called me up. So I called up Subaru, and they have an advocacy line where they have like some person who like fights for you on your behalf. And I didn't have any faith.
Against Subaru? Like Subaru hires people that will fight for you for your
their goal is to like make you satisfied so you continue to buy Subarus throughout your life. So they're like your advocate. And I had no faith in this advocate. Not this particular advocate, but I had no faith in a car company advocating for me in any capacity. And I just figured I'd go pay full price for this part, which wound up being $2,600.
Jesus.
They have to replace the entire seat because it's the sensor in the seat. And I thought that was an outrageous fee to pay, especially.
It seems like a good price for a seat. Well,
but
I think it'd be more.
It's a safety issue.
So much money.
It's the airbag. It should be free no matter what.
Absolutely.
How old is the car?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a 2015.
You're out of the window.
The warranty expired 9 months ago.
Oh, how convenient.
God.
Yeah.
But I think he got
Whenever
some good news.
Yeah, you did get some good news.
We heard the good news.
Yeah, the advocate called. That was who we heard.
So I missed the call from the advocate 2 times already. So that's why I answered it. And she told me that I don't have to go to the dealer. I can go to my new mechanic guy, and she'll reimburse me for up to $1,000, which I did not expect any of that.
Wow.
$1,000. That is amazing news. I expected just to pay out of pocket for the entire thing. So thank you, Subaru Advocacy Group. I now like Subaru again. I loved Subaru before.
Okay. Well, every time I get into a Subaru, I do like it.
Yeah.
I love
like
Subarus. Cars. They ever since Dave Matthews gave away one in 1999 online, and I saw him standing next to one. I love Subarus, and they just seem to be helping the environment, even though there's no basis to that whatsoever. They just seem to be on the right side of things. But I think that's like kind of their.
They were one of the first car companies to advertise to the LGBT community in their advertisements. They would have
and that's why it's
couples.
like kind of associated with lesbians getting Subarus.
Yes.
Because that's another thing I know about them.
Mm-hmm.
I went on a date with a guy who drove a Subaru, and I thought it was he had kind of the demeanor of one. There was a little bit too much feminine energy radiating from him, which I did not hate, but it was a thing that I noticed, that I picked up on. He was very nice, and like there was just, there was more feminine energy than masculine for me, but that's no judgment. He was just I was like, oh, this is something different. But he did drive a Subaru, but I liked that Subaru. I got in that and I was like, this is
thinking about buying one, but
no, I was like, this guy has good taste.
Oh,
it was a nice car, and it was like a risk to get a Subaru.
Is there a car that if a guy drove up in it, you would be like, this is over?
Teslas for me now are kind of I don't hate them, but it kind of tells me if you bought one, it just tells me that you are about status, and you kind of think it just reminds me of Elon Musk too much. And do you guys know that he named each of the models of the cars so that it would eventually spell sexy?
Yes.
Like the Model S, the Model 3, the Model X, the Model Y.
Oh.
And that he also priced one of the first Teslas at $69,420 because
God.
So I just did this thing for the LA Times where they asked me all about Elon Musk's jokes, quote unquote, to see if he was funny or not. So I guess they're asking a bunch of comedians like, what do you think of this joke? And none of them are jokes. They're all just like him calling a guy a pedo. And it's like, is that a joke? It was just all these things. But I really went pretty hard on him. And I'm honestly scared for my life now. I'm like, wait a second. Elon Musk could have me murdered in seconds and have it covered up. He's one of the richest men in the world.
I bet he reads the LA Times too.
I bet he reads anything about himself, and he fancies himself a comedian. So he wants desperately, he went on stage with Chappelle.
SNL. He hosted SNL.
He hosted SNL. He went on Rogan. Like, he wants to be a comedian, which I then at the end of the thing said, I'm very flattered that this person who's so successful in everything they do still wants to be a comedian. And it makes me feel cool because this guy who has everything and can't have everything can't have this one thing because he'll never be funny. And I said he'll never be funny because he's surrounded by people who will always laugh at everything he says.
Awful.
And you need to be a comedian. You need to have a sense of humility. You need to bomb. And he can't bomb because he employs everyone he's around. He has no real friends to tell him that's not funny. Like, he did this one stunt at Twitter when he first bought it where he walked in with a sink. Did you know this?
Oh,
yes. No,
He walked in with a sink, and the headline was "Let this sink in," and he had a big sink he was carrying in.
Stupid.
I said I
Wordplay.
felt bad for the guy that had to go to Lowe's to buy that sink, and to all the people that were in the room with him when he came up with it that had to be like, yeah, man. Like, this guy never has someone not laugh at his jokes. So it's not his fault that he thinks he's funny. It's our fault.
Yeah.
It's our fault because we're scared of him. We want some of his power and money, so we laugh at everything he says. So it's not his fault he's not funny and that he has the...
That's why it's always
sense of
impressive
humor
when
of-
someone incredibly powerful is actually funny. Like, I think Barack
Like
Obama... Whoa, we just said Obama at the same time, I
Yeah.
think. I don't know.
He's funny. He really
He's
is.
actually funny.
Well, because he came up not a privileged little asshole.
Did Elon?
Who thought, he's not, and Obama probably has narcissistic tendencies because you have to want to be president. But it seems like he cares what other people think.
Yeah, Elon's
Maybe
parents...
I'm fooled. Yeah.
Elon's parents owned emerald mines in Africa. They were pretty well to do, but they didn't share, according to him, they didn't share the wealth with him. But I'm sure he had certain benefits.
That's, open doors.
Yeah, it's not like they made him live out in the shed in the backyard. Like, he's still got things. But again, it's not his fault. Like, people who are like privileged assholes, it's not their fault. It's not like you would be a kid and be like, Mom, Dad, stop showering me with all this like money and like you don't you can't help how you come up if you are protected from anyone telling you the truth about life.
No, I agree.
And
with
I
that.
am in several ways sheltered. And but I will say I am sharing the wealth myself with my family. In fact, this weekend, my mom and I went to Nashville because I had a shoot on Thursday. I flew in Wednesday night. My mom joined me on Thursday, had a shoot on Thursday for a show on the USA Network called Barmageddon. And it's hosted by Nikki Garcia, formerly one of the Bella twins, but now that she goes by Garcia, who I actually did their podcast a couple weeks ago. And so I already had like a rapport with her, and she's so nice and just cool and pretty and talented and all those things. And then also on the show it's pretty much two celebrities guests playing bar games this is the second season. So the celebrity has a teammate, and the teammate is someone who's had like a really epic fail online. Like someone who's like tripped and fell in a pool, or like, just did some embarrassing Tosh.0 type thing, and they need redemption. And so we're playing bar games with them against the other celebrity and their teammate. And then also on the show are Blake Shelton. I almost say Blake Griffin. Blake Shelton from The Voice and Music, and Gwen Stefani. And then Carson Daly from TRL.
Oh, cool.
Carson Daly live or whatever that is in the Today Show. And you couldn't ask for 3 better celebrities who are more down to earth, cool, nice. They're just so nice. And I know I say that a lot about celebrities. When I don't say someone's nice, it's because they're not. Otherwise, I'm going to say it. So the only time you'll hear me say anything about a celebrity's personality is generally when they're nice. And if I haven't commented on it, it probably means they're an asshole, which often happens. Or they think they're k. But no, there was no k-ness. Mom, you got in.
No. Yeah, go ahead. I got in.
Yeah.
And I was really not going to go. I was like,
yeah, because
I'll
my
just
mom's
meet you at the
kind of
hotel.
used to going to these things, and she kind of just sits in a green room all day. Like she's like kind of over the glitz and glam of like going to a TV
it's
show.
sitting in a green room, just like watching you on a monitor most of the time.
Yeah, it's boring.
And it's a really long day. And I
Yes.
just thought, well, and I didn't even know you were starting late, but I was like, I just may not go. And then you're like, well, you might have fun. And I'm like, okay.
And I can always send you home in an Uber if it's not fun.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. And I was like, oh, maybe.
So we're in downtown Nashville at Blake Shelton's bar and filming this thing. We go to hair and makeup. We do all of that. We're in the green room eating snacks. And then we get pulled to set. And then the green room is for the celebrities, guests, and that's pretty much it. It's for me and Al Madrigal, who was other celebrity.
Oh,
on
Al
it.
Madrigal.
Yeah, you know him. Daily Show.
Yeah. The Carson Daly Show.
Yeah. And so we were hanging out in there and with my mom and producers who were like telling us about the games. And then after the first game that Blake came in?
It was like the 4th game.
No, it wasn't. It was after the first one. It was? 100%. Because I know what I got pulled to go do. So anyway, we're back in the room in between games, which I was terrible at all of the games. I am so used to being bad at everything. It is absurd how bad I am at anything, hand-eye. I am not good
That's
at
what makes
anything
it so
besides
darn cute.
words. It is cute. I'm really used to it. They were kind of like, "Are you okay?" And I go, "I'm so used to losing on shows. It doesn't bother me anymore."
It's getting fun.
That's great.
I
It's
was
good
your,
writing.
I went to go see you do Celebrity Ninja Warrior or whatever that was.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was the worst day of my life.
I didn't want to
forgot
bring it
about
up.
that one. Oh,
It
my
was
God.
the worst day of my life. Let's come back and talk about that when we get back, and we'll tell you all about our day at Barmageddon because there's lots to tell. And then we're gonna get into some Taylor Swift stuff, and the concert we went to. But also there's some news that's out, and I need to address it. So we'll talk about all that when we get back. My mom and Brian Fanji and Noah, of course, in Arizona. All right, yeah, I'm bad at everything and any kind of like physical challenge. I can't even believe I'm with Chris Convey because sports are so important to him and like precision sports and like just like any kind of games are so important to him. And he has a girlfriend that is disabled, honestly. Like I think even it turns into Special Olympics type stuff with me. I think it really does. It's so embarrassing. And if I even do a little bit good, people go, "Good job." Like it's just so pandering and humiliating. Brian, you went to American Ninja Warrior, which by the way, I only got asked to do a day before it was shooting because
that's
someone
not
dropped
fair.
out.
You had no time to prepare.
Tyrese dropped out or something like that.
Oh, man.
Maybe it was Monique. I forget who. It was some black person with one name dropped out.
Moesha.
And could have been. No, Moesha I think is the
That
character
was like
played
the
by
sitcom.
Brandy, which also it could have been Brandy.
Brandy, there you go.
Yeah. So you weren't off. One name and a black person. But anyway, so I got asked to do it because clearly I'm the first person you think of when Tyrese can't make it. What did Tyrese sing? I forget.
I
But
think it was
anyway,
like a
I could probably
model.
do a better job singing. Yeah, he was a model. But
Like
I
an
think
underwear
he sang
model.
too. No. So anyway, that was the worst
Not fair.
day.
Not fair. You need time to train for that.
Oh,
Yeah, but
God.
no
Yeah.
one did. None of these other celebrities did.
Did you
either.
get to practice before?
Yeah, there was one day where we went and practiced. My partner was Jessie Graff. She kind of looks like me, but fit. and I went to her house and she had a big pig and she had like a Ninja Warrior thing set up in the house, like inside the house. It's Ninja Warrior. It's like you in the kitchen, you can climb on the walls and do, there's ropes and all these things running around and in her backyard. There's trampolines and all this stuff. So you can, because she's
Is she a regular on the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got matched with a regular to like help us.
Okay.
These and this was my first like celebrity thing. So it was the first time I go, I guess I'm a celebrity because you can't be on the show unless you are. This is 2017.
Well, so this was the moment you were like, I guess I'm a celebrity?
Yeah, because like I didn't know I was a comic until I was on Last Comic Standing. It's like, okay, well, they wouldn't put me on the show unless I was a comic. Like it's in the title, Dancing with the Stars. I was like, okay, I guess I'm a star now. I would never call myself that, but I'm on a show where I am one of the stars.
Singer.
Yes, and so I'm
a singer.
A singer.
Now you're masked.
Yeah. Well, and now I'm masked.
Yeah.
So I'm a masked star celebrity, and I wait for these kind of coronations, so to speak, where I get knighted as such, because it's embarrassing to call yourself a celebrity or a comic. You never know when to do it.
Yeah.
And then you get on the show and you go, well, I guess I am. So, no training, but like a day where I just like ran around an obstacle course with her in her backyard, and it was fun. And then the course itself, we get there. It is so hard.
Oh,
None of the
looks so
celebrities
hard.
could even do it. Who's the girl from it was Natalie Morales from the Today Show was the other woman.
Yeah.
And then it was the girl from American Beauty who's laying in the bed of roses, Mina Suvari.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. And I forget the others, but those are the two girls. And we were all struggling. The first thing you had to like just run on this kind of like lily pad thing. And then you swing to another thing. And none of us could do it. We
So
kept
hard.
falling.
Good. You weren't alone.
And so this was just the practice during the day. And so they go, we're going to move the lily pads closer together. We're going to adjust so that they can at least get past the first step of this, you know? And you got to, on the real Ninja Warrior, you fall and you're out. But this one, we got to multiple try because it was for charity. It was
And you're a
celebrity.
celebrity.
Yeah. And so, yeah.
And they had
And they
little
don't
jokes. They had little jokes if you failed. Like if you fell in the pool of water, there was a person with a raft that could row you across. Like there was stuff like that.
Yeah, there were always like these fail safes to like,
Oh.
yeah. So I got to like row to the other side because I fell in the water. But it was terrifying because I don't like any of this stuff. I was like, I would never do a ropes course outside of if I was like, I don't know, it was 6th grade camp. We had to do like a ropes course. And I only did that because I didn't want to be
The
made
only
fun
one
of.
that wouldn't. Yeah.
So I was crying and I was really wanting to walk away. And then they gave us this speech about how then you would be losing $15,000 for these kids with cancer. It was like for Red Nose Day. And so they're like, you would be sacrificing $15,000 that's going to go to kids. And it's like your ego is more important than that. They gave us like this pep talk because I was crying. And I remember a guy named Nick from the Yankees. Do you know?
Nick Swisher. Nick Swisher, the happiest man on planet Earth.
Yes, he was so nice to me. And I remember thinking that he just worked on the show because he just was like,
So
he was just
nice.
this guy that was like cheering me on when we were practicing.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy's really cute. Like, I wonder what his deal is. Like, it was kind of like, oh my God, this guy's so nice. Like, and then it turned out he was a New York Yankee, a beloved New York
Jeez.
Yankee. He was one of the other celebrities, and he was so nice to me. And I was crying, and he came over and was just like, "Hey, this isn't a big deal." Like he kind of talked me off the ledge, which I needed because you had to literally jump off a ledge on this. And so he was just really nice. So anyway, we get to the. Man, this is like bringing back so much anxiety.
Oh.
It was just so embarrassing because I remember just like, I'm almost like starting to cry because it was just like, I didn't want to do it. I just hate when you are forced to do something because people are like,
You didn't even have time to think about it.
I did. I had hours between the practice and the
No, I'm
night
talking
shoot.
about this saying, yeah, I'll do the show.
Yeah, and because at that point I never wanted to turn down anything in my
I
career
get it.
because you could be the one thing where you do something funny or someone sees
Yeah.
you and it takes and you're in no position to do that. But I hated every second of it. I did the worst by far out of everyone. And I remember Natalie Morales and also Mina Suvari being like, this is so hard. We suck at this. And feeling like, oh my God, thank you guys. You suck too. We're all going to suck. And they're all like freaking out about it too. They like they complete the whole thing, which I only completed 20% of it. So to complete the whole thing versus 20%, you're fucking lying about being, I'm so bad at it. It's like when girls used to go, I'm going to get an F. I didn't study at all in the test. And then they get an A, like those those little quiet A students
A-holes.
who like to pretend like, yes. Yeah, I call these women holes. And
Just holes.
no, they were so nice. Mina Suvari and Natalie Morales, again, two celebrities who are so nice and are not too for school. But fuck them, because they were really talented and they were underplaying it because they were trying to make me feel better. Like, this is scary. This
That's
sucks. Because
sweet
I
of
was
them. Yeah.
Yes, it is sweet, but I did not appreciate them going so far. And Jeff Dye was there swinging all over
Jeff
things
Dye,
and just
yeah.
Die.
killing it. And it was like, I wanted Jeff too. And after that, I was so mad how good he was at it. Everyone was good. Everyone except me. I was by far the worst. Not even like the worst, a little like.
Someone has to be the worst.
Yeah, but usually there's someone who's a
Sorry.
little bit better than you, but it's slightly. Like there's someone who's like kind of riding the bottom with you, but you have to be bottom. There was no one even close to as bad as me. It was so embarrassing. And there's a huge audience there, you know.
It's on the
and
Paramount lot or something.
yeah, yes.
And they take Main Street, which is where they film a lot of like movies and stuff, where their sets are all set up to look like a real street, and they put bleachers. So there is literally hundreds of people watching you.
And like just feeling sorry for you. And I just was like, I turned off my ego. Do you ever do that where you're just like, or you turn off your fear and you just like,
you just
I think
have
it's
to
probably the
dive
same
in.
thing people do before they jump off a building.
I think that's
Yeah.
what separates
You
you
can
from
turn it off.
many
My
people.
suicide book is talking a lot about this. Like before people kill themselves, they just do it. Like they just rip off the Band-Aid even though they know it's going to hurt. What literally was the same feeling. I had to
my
just
God.
turn off
Wow.
the thing that told me everything, like, don't do this, because it was scary. I'm on a 60,
yeah.
I'm 60 feet in the air.
Oh
Maybe
my
that's an
gosh.
exaggeration, but it's so, and I'm scared of heights, and you have to jump out. And yes, you are attached to things that are going to save you, and there's a net below, but I have to jump on this like trapeze bar. It was so scary because I hate diving boards. I hate when men jump on diving boards and then they almost like crash on the bottom. Like
That's one of your fears.
Yeah, they double bounce, like
Oh,
a bounce,
yeah.
and then they land again, and they like kind of miss it, and they kind of scrape the sides of it.
No good.
Like nothing makes me more anxious than like trying to grab a bar and like missing it. Like there's something just
that's scary.
even though you can't get hurt, like there was just something about it.
It's
and
so
I did it.
interesting because me and Chris had like the opposite experience that you had watching.
What?
Me. Well, we were in your little circle of your circle of friends. I
Trust.
think it was me,
Yeah.
Chris, and was it just me and Chris? I don't remember. We were
I
in
think
the
Lizzie was there, yeah.
and Liz, and we were in the circle watching you, and then we watched you. We cheered you on. Chris wanted to do this thing where he put the red circle nose on his face at a funny moment.
Oh yeah.
They filmed him. I don't think it made it to the final
because
cut.
they were filming you guys as my like
Yeah,
cheer
we're like,
circle.
"Yeah, go!"
So there are cameras on you. So Chris was trying to do
Yeah.
a bit.
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
And everything, that was all fun and games down there.
Yeah, and
I
then
was
and then after
there.
you finished, and we were like, oh no, and then Nick Swisher comes by and gives us like this incredible motivational speech. Me and Chris. Nick Swisher, we were talking to Nick Swisher for like 25 minutes, and I don't think we looked at each other, me and Chris, and we were like, I don't think I've ever felt better in my entire life than after talking to Nick Swisher.
He was the greatest guy.
So
That's so
positive,
cute.
so motivational. I felt like life was new and fresh, and I could do
Do you
anything.
remember anything he said?
He should have been. Well,
He should have been your Subaru advocate.
Why was he giving you guys advice?
I don't know. That's just who he is. He comes by. He goes.
Yeah, was he
"Hey,
like
man."
trying to make you feel good about my performance? Is that his? Do you remember anything?
I think he just exudes joy and happiness.
does.
I
He's
mean,
a happy guy.
He's
to
a
look him
millionaire.
Well, you can't.
World
He's actually
Series.
dead.
Well, I can
What?
still look
He
him up.
died. He killed himself. I'm just kidding. That'd be so funny. I mean, not funny, but ironic, I guess. No, he's still with us.
Think about the trajectory of a Major League Baseball player's life. It's like you're the best baseball player. So when you're in high school and stuff, you're very popular. Then you go to college, you get a scholarship. Then you get drafted by the New York Yankees. Then you're a millionaire. Like at what point is your life sad? So he really has no reason to not be joyful and happy.
I mean, mean, there's tons
Depression,
of people that
right?
can be very successful and just sad because if you have bad parents, you had to put, but yes, you're right. He seemed to appreciate his life and appreciate everything he's been given. He was just, and the thing that stuck out to me about him is that I thought he was a PA on the show. He didn't come off like he was walking around like a celebrity. He was just talking to everyone and just so nice, but not in a way that's like, this guy is like trying to be an everyman type thing. Sometimes you see celebrities doing that where you're like, easy, we get it.
Right.
You're like special and you want to spread your little celebrity.
Right. So people talk
sparkle
about
everywhere. Yes. So people, but it didn't seem motivated in that way.
So it was just me and Chris
afterwards,
high-fiving World Series champion Nick Swisher, as happy as can be. Meanwhile, Nikki is getting rafted across a little pool.
well, yes. And I will say that there was also this one part where you had to run across, it was almost like a picture of kebab that has blocks on it, like cubes. And then you run across and those cubes spin and you have to run across the kebab.
I would hate even trying all
So
this.
I fell during the trapeze thing. I fell in the water and my shoes get completely soaked.
Okay.
So for the next part, for the kebab, I was like, let me go barefoot because my shoes are soaked and it's really uncomfortable. So I went barefoot, not knowing that you can get get injured if you're barefoot, and no one's looking out for any of these celebrities.
God.
So I broke my toe on the kebab.
Yeah.
Then I
didn't know
also
that.
fell.
That's right.
I fell so hard. I forget at which part I did.
Oh my God,
I got,
you were so bruised up.
turf burn. Is that what it's called?
Matt Burn?
I think it was called turf toe. I had
Turf
turf
toe?
toe.
Turf toe is
and then
really
I had,
bad.
I had rug burn, like mat burn, so hard on my legs. I had like 3rd degree. I mean,
You
I'm
had
not kidding you.
bruises all over your legs.
I was
too.
not healed for months after that show.
that's
I
right.
could have probably sued because I was so injured from this stupid
Yeah.
show
My
where I didn't even go
God.
far. And I hope those kids with cancer survive because of my $15,000. So I hope that they got like they hired a clown to come in. To
Wait,
the
did
hospital
you
that
still
day.
get money?
My $15,000 went nowhere. I mean, what is that going to do for anyone in a cancer ward? That's like a penny.
That's going to pay for one screen reading.
No, it's gonna. Yes, it's gonna pay for like a bell they ring when they survive or whatever. It's like just donate the bell.
Yeah,
it was.
You're right.
I
It's
really
not a
got
lot.
had with that whole thing. It was not about kids with cancer. It was about making a TV show. I should have dropped out. I wish I would have. It was one of those times in my life where I was like, I wish I would have listened to my instinct, which was, I hate this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. I'm not good at this. I'm not. Going into something like last night, my friend was really depressed and didn't want to go do a comedy set, even though she had one. And she's like, I should go. I feel guilty. And I'm like, don't go because you're not going to be good. She's like, but what, I know that she was feeling guilt because what if someone's in the audience that can see her that night and change her life? Mm-hmm. You're not going to do a good job if you're depressed on stage and you're dreading it and you hate it. You're going to actually, that person's going to see you and remember you as the girl who bombed because you were so upset. So listen to those voices
Good
in your
advice.
head that say don't go, because I think so many times people in our lives surround us with like, what's the worst that could happen? Just do it. Fight past the fear. Like fear sometimes kind of tells you what to do and not do.
Well,
so
tell
anyway,
me.
Barmageddon was not I didn't care anymore because this wasn't like I have no ego anymore when it comes to being good at
that's a
sports.
good-
It's been
that's good.
beaten out of me by Ninja Warrior and Dancing with the Stars. There's nothing you could do, nothing I could do on TV sports-wise, and how it will never embarrass me anymore. I really am immune to it.
Good.
People were like embarrassed
Good.
for me, I think, but I just don't care anymore.
I wasn't
maybe that's-
embarrassed for you at all. I was like, I was so proud of you getting out there.
And not caring what people think.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's where you get the that's where people like have any kind of joy for watching what you do. It's like she just doesn't care.
and
you
then-
made it so fun too.
That was like when mom was commenting on women's in Nashville who are just like bigger girls that wear really tiny things, and she's just like, they just don't care. I would never
I could never ever, but I'm like, I'm so proud of these girls. Like,
for looking like shit.
they don't care.
And not caring and looking totally
I think it's
unlovable.
amazing. I think it's amazing
No,
that-
it is. There is something to that when you see someone where you go, if I looked like that, I'd not leave my house.
Well,
but they're wearing.
wouldn't wear that outfit for sure.
Right.
And they just don't seem to care.
I love it.
They embrace it. And I'm like, God love them.
God love them.
Yeah. That's sorry.
Because
gotta
that's the
say it.
only person that will. No, that's not how I feel at all. It was just a joke. Don't come at me. Treat me like a man and don't come at me for saying horrible things, which is something I've noticed.
Oh.
When you're a man, you can say really awful things on podcasts.
Okay.
That are just like the worst thing. Not
Go
you,
at it,
Brian, because you have
Brian.
a feminine energy. They'd probably come after you.
Here goes. You have feminine
when you're
energy.
like
Brian,
Andrew
for God's-
Santino, Bobby Lee, Tim Dillon, Chris DiStefano, you can
Oh my God,
say
name 'em
the
all.
most racist, crazy shit ever because it's a joke. Because
Yes,
you're joking,
yes,
and they
yes.
should be able to say it, and everyone laughs and they share the clips. But if you're a woman and say something that is hateful in jest, you're taken very seriously. And I want to get on. I want to get in this men's club where you get a free pass. And I'm not hating on those guys. I think they're the funniest people going.
Right.
But they just, for some reason, I look at these clips and I hate to play this. If they were a woman, they would be canceled. But I do believe women aren't.
How can you
given
get
the
into
same
that
pass.
club? How can you establish your persona?
I'm on my next special. I'm going hard, and I'm calling it. I just was assessing my jokes, and I'm like, I'm just kind of trying to play it safe so that people don't hate me with these jokes. So therein, you if they sense you're scared, they'll jump on that. I'm scared a little bit of getting canceled and having people be mad at me. That's why I'm even saying these caveats of I'm not really meaning that. I was just saying a joke. I don't actually think
Yeah, you
people
seem
who
to
are
have to say that after.
yeah, because I still have this fear. But if I just go hard and I'm unapologetic and I kind of want to call the special something like I'm a bad person or like bad thoughts.
I must be a bad person.
Or so I just want to get I've talked about before, like saying what it is so that people can't go, she's a bad person. It's like, well, she told us she was. And I'm
Yeah.
not a bad person. I just have really dark thoughts. And guess what? I can't help my thoughts.
Yeah.
I can't help what I say. I would argue I can't help what I say because there's no free will, but that's another conversation. Let's say I can help what I say. I can't help what I think. So if someone is thinking, man, if I looked at that, I'd kill myself, but good for her. You can't say, for some reason, even thinking it, people would say you should be canceled for thinking it. But I can't help that I thought it. So what am I supposed to do?
Oh, I think I'd be really careful. I hate. I'm
no,
just
my
telling you.
mom doesn't want me to take any chances ever. She's always like,
I get so-
Nikki, I wouldn't do it. Well, I have enough money to retire. So if I
Okay,
and live
well,
modestly the rest of my life, I mean,
that's
you're not
if
going to
you-
get any cars or anything. But I could,
No, you're in-
I could
Then
get
don't
canceled
get-
tomorrow.
You're in the
Canceled.
perfect place. You're in the perfect place to do this right now, especially just the state of the industry. Like you could, if the industry canceled you or whatever, you could make millions of dollars, just like Tim Dillon, just like Andrew Schultz on YouTube.
Yes, well, yeah, my
Patreon.
audience would follow me somewhere.
Yeah.
The people that like what I do would follow me. And I'm so appreciative of that because you don't really need anything when you have that kind of like built-in crowd that will like pay you directly.
Andrew
for your
Schultz
content.
bought his special back from Amazon or Netflix or whatever, and then made like 5 times as much money releasing it himself.
Can someone buy back his special from me? I regret spending that money. I'm just kidding.
Well, so-
Canceled.
I think
by
I think with all those people, the difference is that when they started, they introduced themselves to the public with that persona of I'm going to say
Yes.
whatever,
And they're not trying to be on ABC dancing in
No.
a costume as a snowflake.
No.
They're not, they're not trying to play both sides.
Like one female comedian who got away with that is Sarah Silverman. I mean, she says a lot of stuff that probably most women would
Yes.
get canceled for, and she gets with it. I think because she established her persona. Like, this is who I am.
Yes.
This is what I'm going to do the whole time. If you're not on board, why are you watching me?
Stick it. I don't want to. And by the way, I'm not someone who wants anyone to feel bad about who they are or like if. And I'm also someone who, when I say something negative, I'll admit that it was a bad thing to say and that I'm sorry if it hurt anyone's feelings. I can't help though that I thought it, like I can live with that. I'm not just out there trying to hurt people. But do you see clips like that, Brian, where you just go, I can't believe this person has a career after saying something like that. Whereas people have been canceled for so much less.
Like for women only or for men and women?
No, like there's this clip that I watch all the time that is one of my favorites where I won't even describe it because it's saying that it's one of my favorites. People will go, you're clearly racist because you think that's funny. But it's like a thing from Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee's podcast, Bad Friends, where they're arguing about who has more black people at their show. I think I showed it to you, Mom.
You did.
And I will describe it. They're both arguing back and forth about who has more black people at their individual stand-up shows. And Andrew's like, I have more black people at my show in any market. I get black people coming out to my shows in Spokane, like saying, and then Bobby's like, oh, I could get black people in Spokane and I get the good ones.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden they just stop and Bobby, he says good ones and then he just puts his head in his hands because he knows exactly, like, he's just said something horrible. And then Andrew, they just cut to him and he's just looking straight in the camera and he goes, keep it in. Keep it in. Don't. It's just so funny. And I'm laughing at something that is racist. So, but I feel like if I said that.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't be. I don't want to play that card all the time, but I would like to be in that same. So I think it just got to go harder.
Well, I get why you want to do this. I mean, good. Bring it out.
Bring it out.
Julie's starting to get
Unapologetic.
nervous.
Don't.
You know who, though?
I know. I'm a little nervous
Watch
about it.
Ali Wong. I watched Ali Wong's special, Don Wong, this weekend. Chris and I are watching a lot of stand-up specials because we're getting ready to produce mine together. And we watched like a couple female comic specials and we were like, okay, we see what's working here. We see it with but we're not laughing. And then we put on Ali Wong's and we're both dying laughing because this bitch is just... She's not she's being performative because she does talk in a very funny way. I don't know if you've ever seen her stand up, but her cadence is like almost a hip hop delivery. I can't even do it justice, but it's like, you see her talk in the show Beef or you see her in interviews and then you see her on stage and she's doing a different delivery, but and it's performative in that way, but she's saying real shit. Like at one point she's just like, I want to cheat on my husband so badly. And it's like, you can tell she's probably said that line a bunch because it's in her special, but it comes across so genuine, so real, because it is real and it's a fucking crazy thing to say. And now she's divorced.
so
And at one
funny.
point she goes, I'm having a midlife crisis. But it was the difference between someone, it was just age, honestly. It made me excited about being older because watching younger stand-ups, you just are seeing a more I'm trying to hit these places where I'm trying. I've done, and I did it before too. I look at my old specials and I'm like, you're just more mechanical and you're following the beats, whereas she's really feeling it. And it was just watching her special blew my mind because it was just so. It wasn't as sharply written in terms of joke, which I can really appreciate sometimes, but the feeling behind it made it so much better than any joke laden special. And there were, there's tons of jokes in it, but it wasn't as calculated. It just felt more real. And I just really, and she's widely successful. And she was saying the craziest, at one point she was like, I love getting cum on my face. I love it. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Gimme, gimme, gimme. And I was like, oh my God, she is commercially one of the most successful women going. And she did a special where she said, yummy, 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 cum on my face. Give it to me. Get it in my eye. I go, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Women can do anything. It really made me feel great. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to talk about Barmageddon, which we didn't get to, and we're going to talk about Taylor Swift. Don't you even think we won't? Okay, so Blake Shelton comes into the green room.
No, first, when you were like, he came in, he's like, Nikki, and we were all with a bunch of people.
Okay.
And they were setting up for one of the games.
Yes.
That the axe throwing.
Yeah.
Did I give away anything?
Oh, no.
Spoiler
People aren't
alert.
going to watch now.
Spoiler alert. Axe throwing.
Logan Roy dies in this episode
Oh,
of
God.
Barmageddon.
Anyway, you're like,
Axe to the head.
this is my mom. And he's like, and I'm like, hi. I was shaking his
yeah,
hand.
that's right.
And he's like, oh, no. And he comes up and gives
And
me a
he's
big
like,
hug.
no, we got a hug. And he gives
He's
her
so
a hug.
cute.
He is, so, first of all, so adorable.
He's really cute.
It's funny,
Yeah.
when I told Chris that Blake Shelton was amazing, he was like, are you serious? Am I going to have to like this guy now?
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, unfortunately, because
Gonna
you
have to.
want to not like Blake Shelton. If you're someone who doesn't like country music a lot, you don't like that. Oh, you don't like any, he's just a guy that you'd go, oh, this guy's probably just one of
No,
these bullshit
nothing
country
about
artists.
him.
He
Nothing.
is genuine. He's nice. He wasn't hugging my mom because it was like presentational. It
No,
was
he was just being sweet because I was going to shake his hand. He's like, oh no. And it was like, he gave me a sincere hug. And it was like, oh my God, this is so cute.
so cute.
And
He's
then-
adorable.
yeah,
and then
so-
we're up in the green room after the darts or no, sorry, the axe. There's no darts. Don't worry.
Oh, yes, there were.
No, Mom. don't give
no,
away
there
everything.
weren't.
No one's going to watch this episode of Barmageddon on USA
Oh, wait,
Network
hold
at
on.
12
If
o'clock
you
at
were
night.
going to ask me what's going to be in a bar
What kind of game?
competition,
Yeah.
I mean, darts and axe throwing would be like my top two choices.
Can I just
Yeah.
say this show is
Pool?
amazing because all the games are called really funny things. Like this is from first season too. So if you watch the show first season, you know, don't be an axe hole is the name of the first game, and then the darts are called sharts for Shelton darts.
Oh,
And
okay. I
so
would've
like
never
they get
guessed
away
that.
with like really funny names.
Yeah.
It's a fun game.
Yeah, it's
show.
amazing the stuff they're getting away with
Yeah.
on this show.
It
It's
was fun.
really fun.
And so then, so then Blake comes up to this green room, and let me just say, I don't know if you know this. He had a whole separate
That's not
green
his
room.
green room.
He had a green room
Yeah.
that was his own private one that most of the celebrities, I mean, Carson Daly went to his private green room. Nikki went to hers. Blake made a point to go to ours and hang out in ours, not
Oh,
just
cool.
to drop by and say, hey. He sat down. So it's me, Blake, and my mom all sitting around. Then I get pulled to go do a social media thing.
And I was like, where are you going? No.
And so I'm like, I'm just going to leave you two alone. I snapped a picture on my way out of the room because it's just Blake and my mom sitting alone in a room. And I left you and I go, she'll be fine. Like, and he
So
has he could just make up. If he wants to leave, he can just go, I got to
Of
go and,
course.
touch up my makeup or whatever. But they sat there for 15 minutes and talked. What did you guys talk about?
He asked me so many questions. Like he was totally interested in my life, but we were talking about grandkids, and I'm like, well, have you been around little kids? He's like, well, Gwen's kids.
Yeah, my mom forgot that he was married to Gwen.
No, I didn't forget. I didn't know Gwen had 3 little boys.
Oh, okay.
So, they were young. He's
And
been
she
with her
didn't
10
even know
years.
the bar was his.
No, didn't
So she
yeah.
goes, this place is great.
I
and he
said,
goes,
this
"Isn't it
place
nice?"
is amazing. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, it is nice, isn't it? And I thought, and then someone told me later, well, he owns this bar. I'm like, you gotta be kidding
Because
me.
we entered the back way. We didn't see all the signage.
No, I didn't
and
see
stuff.
anything. And it would look like I knew nothing about him, which I don't. I only
No,
knew
we
he was
didn't- no.
married to Gwen. And
Yeah,
that
and
is
he's on
it.
The Voice. Been on The Voice for 23 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy that show's been on that long?
Yeah, but he's such a genuine person. What else was he asking about? He told me a great story about his mother and his old boss when he was a roofer. How he was like,
Yeah,
he was a
in-
roofer when he was
in
like
Oklahoma.
17 in Oklahoma, and he liked his boss. And he's like, you should ask my mom out. And he's like, she's too old for me. And so he said, I used to do little gigs around Oklahoma. And
Wow.
one night his mom came and this roofer boss came, and his mom went up and said, I'm too old for you. And she smacked him across the face. And they've been married since.
That's so funny.
Yeah, they're
Great
totally
story.
in love
Great
and live in
story.
Oklahoma.
And it makes sense because I was like, oh, you know what? He's attracted to like these badass women.
Yeah.
You know, Gwen Stefani, Miranda Lambert, like his
Yeah.
history. Like he kind of is attracted to like women who are like,
Tough.
I ain't no holla back girl, you know,
Yeah.
like that are like these tough broads. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it always goes back
I think
to your
that's
mom.
why he was attracted to me.
Yeah, probably. There was a vibe.
No, I'm
Watch
not
out,
kidding.
Gwen.
He was so sweet, and we
Yeah.
just hung out, and he just would. There was
Well,
never.
let's talk about the donuts.
Oh yeah. Oh, anyway, we had gone down. So finally, they called him, and he said, "You want to walk down with me?" And I'm like, "Sure." So we're following him out, and there's these rack of donuts by the elevator in the kitchen part, and I said, "What are those for?" And he goes, "I don't know. I kind of want one." And I said, well, maybe you can get one later or something. I said, I'm sure they're for something. So we went down, and of course, this was fun. The whole set was all staged, and everybody's sitting in their places, audience and all the, contestants.
This is the horse thing.
No, with the big billiard.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you
giving
gave
away
another
everything.
one away.
you will
Billiards
not
in a
even-
bar?
I am crazy.
But it's not exactly what you think.
Oh.
They kind of turn it on its side,
Yeah,
okay.
literally.
It's kind of funny. So we walk in, And everybody's just looking at me like, oh, you're walking in with Blake. I looked at Nikki and I went, oh, look at this.
Yeah.
At me.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, he just was the sweetest guy.
Okay,
ever.
donuts.
Oh, donuts. Anyway, so we go back up. He's no longer hanging out with me. I don't know what
He found some other mom.
Yeah, he found another mom. Anyway, we go
Al
back
Madrigal's.
up, and there's this guy that works there in the kitchen with 4 big, huge bags of garbage bags. And I said, where are those donuts? And he said, they're in there. And I said, they're in the garbage? And he said, yeah, we're throwing them out. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Can you open one of because one of the girls was taking me up. One of the PAs was like guiding me up there. I'm like, they're throwing these donuts away. Blake wanted one of these donuts. So I took out, I said, can I have something? He goes, yeah, go ahead. And I'm like, taking it. They're all perfect on top. And I'm like stacking them on a plate. And I'm like, great. And so I take them up. I put them in the green room. And all these other people were in the green room.
They all knew Mom dug these out of the trash. And I mean, it was a fresh trash bag with only the donuts.
Yeah.
Just the
Fresh
donuts.
It was, he would have eaten them if they had done. I went in and told these girls, I said,
I dug these out of the trash.
I said,
they were going to
I
throw
said,
these
you guys
out.
didn't even touch these donuts. I
Yeah.
said, you could have. I said, but I'm glad you didn't because I think Blake wants one of these. And they're going, oh. And then I was standing in the doorway over here and Blake walks back in there and everybody's in there and all Nikki's hair people and stuff. And I told him the story and no one mentioned that. He goes, oh, look, donuts.
No, she told the girls the story. So then Blake comes in and goes, oh, donuts. Where'd those come from? And everyone was silent because no one wanted to say they're from the garbage.
Oh,
I
my
would have
God.
said it so fast.
Yeah, so he didn't get a donut.
He didn't
But
get
then
a
my mom
donut.
brought
Didn't
the
even
donuts
eat one.
home. My mom brought the donuts home on a plate. She had like
To the hotel.
To the hotel. And they were never eaten the whole week.
I ate half of
Oh,
one.
wait, you ate half of one later that night. Okay.
And I don't even really eat donuts.
Speaking of advocating for yourself with the Subaru situation and how that all ended up working for you, I have to say I had a victory this weekend with that. We actually had a couple things where we called and like made things happen that I would usually let go. So on Taylor Swift night, I had ordered from this place 2 nights prior, or I'd ordered from Postmates 2 nights in a row, Wednesday night and Thursday night, and got food delivered to this hotel. No issue. I didn't have to meet the guy at the front desk. They just dropped it off at the front desk and they brought it up to my hotel because it's a nice hotel. Most of the time you have to go to the lobby. Hotels are like, we're not bringing it to you, but this is a nice one. They brought it up. No issue, right? The guy didn't call me to be like, where do I take it? Like it was clearly, it's a hotel. So then on the Taylor Swift night, I know this restaurant I really want from. They're closed at 9. So I ordered at 7 for the restaurant to bring our food at 9. We get back at 11:30 after the show, and because nothing would be open by then, or except like shitty bar food, and so or like trash donuts, and so I was like, we'll have this food. So I'm at Taylor Swift, I'm in the middle of the show, and I get a call. I'm getting all these calls on my phone, and I'm just pressing like ignore. Then I'm getting things from Postmates, but it's not delivering until like minutes later. And Postmates is like, if you don't meet your courier, if you don't get back to him, if you don't respond, we are canceling the order. 10 minutes pass. The courier is writing me, if I don't hear from you. So then they cancel my order. They have the food at the hotel because I'm not like coming down to get it. Just take it to the front desk like you have every other night. So my order gets canceled. That food gets I am out $100 worth of food. That is just all he had to do was leave it at the front desk, but instead this guy wanted to call and I needed a code to send him. And so I'm at Taylor Swift. I'm furious because I'm already hungry. I'm looking forward to this meal at the end of the night. It's 9 o'clock. I have 2.5 hours to go before the show's over. And then we have to walk all the way back to our hotel. I'm like, I don't have any food back there. This was supposed to be my meal. I'm so pissed. And there's nothing I can do because it's just canceled. So I was just like mad about it. And then I was almost so mad that I was like, couldn't enjoy the show because I was just like, you fuck up everything. You never get any deals. You always lose money. This is the way your life is. Like, I'm just like having this kind of go through my head of like,
You're spiraling.
you just get fucked over. Yeah. Spiraling about just extra cost because I am someone who doesn't follow up. I always pay more. I never try to like, hey, is there a way I could like get this lower? I just never get a deal. I'm always just hemorrhaging money because I feel guilty for existing. And so I was like, God, what is wrong with me? Here's another $124 just down the drain. And then I'm mad about the food that probably just got thrown in the trash.
Right.
Like
Like those
donuts.
fucking donuts.
Like those donuts.
And so I'm just like,
Upsetting.
I wasted food, which could go and like people and animals had to like work for that food because I think you ordered some animal products, and I'm just like so obsessed with.
No, I didn't. I had a portobello.
Oh, that's okay. So those mushrooms that had to die for that food. It was just like annoying to me to waste food, and so I was pissed. But then I got over it, and I was like, "You are not going to let this ruin this $6,000 concert you bought. I have to just enjoy the show. I will find food after the show. Let it go." And then I kind of thought, this is so dumb to get mad about food because that food would be gone by 12 o'clock tonight and turned into poop. So what is the big difference? The only difference is I didn't get to taste it.
Right.
Otherwise, it all turns to waste anyway. So I was kind of thinking about poop and like making myself feel better at the concert while Taylor Swift is on stage singing.
It'll be food for bacteria now. So
yes. I was just like, you know what? It all goes to waste anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I think that really helped me was like, what? So I just didn't get to taste food. That's really all I'm lamenting. The money would have been gone either way. It just would have been, I missed out on tasting
You've ruined
good
it
food.
for me with the poop.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
just
good.
did.
So it's all good. So then, but I told Chris the story 2 days later, and he was like, "You got to get that money back." And
I
I'm like,
said the same thing.
I go, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and so I just pull. But then I go, I spend so much fucking money on Postmates. I bet if I write to them, they're gonna look at my order history and know that they're gonna miss out on if they piss me off, they're missing out on thousands of dollars a year. So I wrote to them and I explained the whole thing via the chat thing, which never really works when you're chatting with like one of those people that's like, "Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm here to help you. How can I be of service?" And it's like ... and they're just writing to you. Daniel fucking took care of it right away.
Oh.
And not only did he give me all my money back, he gave me $10 extra for inconveniencing me.
Wow.
I was like, I was
Nice.
so happy that I got that money back. It was
Yes.
all because I just like took the initiative to like ask questions and to like get into a little bit more. God damn it, we're already at that final thought. Okay. So we have so much
you're
more to
also
cover.
Nikki Glaser. Like most of these companies will bend over backwards to make sure you're satisfied because you could talk and talk about this shit.
Oh, right. Well, Postmates, thank you so much. Final thought. Let's talk about Taylor Swift.
Okay, let's do.
Yeah, we have 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so we go to the concert. Did you know that I was thinking about going on Sunday night. I actually had a bestie who offered me tickets. Shout out to her. Thank you so much. That
I
was so
didn't
nice of you.
hear that.
But I turned it down because I didn't want to like wait in town for 2 more days just to
Right.
go to a show that I've seen 4 times now. Sunday night, it rained all night long.
Oh.
And her show was delayed 2 hours, so that show did not end until 1:30 in the morning.
Oh my God. And you know she did
And it
the
was
whole show.
She did the whole show in
She
pouring
doesn't-
rain.
Oh my God.
So it was kind of cool because that's kind of like a tradition of hers is like there's always like rain shows that are super special and like everyone's excited that they were at a rain show. I'm happy I wasn't at a rain show because
yeah.
I will say we were almost at a rain show on Friday night for Taylor Swift because it was raining during it started raining. Phoebe Bridgers played. She's amazing. It was so awesome to see not only Taylor Swift but Phoebe Bridgers, who is like my second favorite musical artist right now. And it started raining during her set. And we
We were prepared.
Yeah. Well, this callback. What did you do?
Well, you told me to go out. You were taking a little nap and you said, go try to find us some ponchos. Go to these couple stores. And I'm like, nobody had any. So I finally went to this local grocery store and these 2 gals were like, no, but we still have some heavy duty garbage bags in the back. And they brought out scissors and they were like, I'm
Were
like,
these women black?
yes.
I could just tell by the voice you did.
I tried not to do that.
I just could tell.
But they were the sweetest girls ever.
I can't
Yes,
believe
they
they like
were.
pulled out scissors from like the office in the grocery store. To
She came out with
help
the 2 bags and she said, and another girl came over. She goes, here's the scissors.
That's
and I'm like,
so nice.
and there were
cute.
4 women involved in this and trying to help me with
So
this.
Mom and I had these makeshift ponchos, and they were. So there's a picture that I'm going to post of my mom in her. I was laughing so hard.
You
and
were
my mom
laughing so
curled
hard.
up in this poncho. I don't know why it was so funny to me, but you look so funny in this trash bag. And then it stopped raining, and my mom stayed in the trash bag, and then it was like not raining for 10 minutes. And I go, and this was right
I
before,
couldn't tell.
it was like during the time between Phoebe and Taylor where there was no one on stage. And my mom, we were just in these trash bags. And then eventually I took mine off and she goes, it looks like it's not raining anymore. I go, it hasn't been raining for 10 minutes. And you go, well, you got to tell me, Nick. And then you came out of the bag. But then Taylor took the stage and I swear to God, like it had been spitting rain up until the second she took the stage. And then there was no rain the entire concert. And it was like, it was as if she controlled the weather. It was like, and I wasn't even worried. It was so funny because before she came on stage, I was like, is it going to rain? But like stay away because the clouds are over. It's just like that kind of weather where it could start raining any second. But when she took the stage, it was as if there was no no chance of rain.
Yeah.
Like it was still in the air kind of, but I was like, it just won't happen because there's something special. So the show was great. As usual, I know I'm at the point now where I don't have to look at my set list anymore to know where she's going. I know what song goes into next song. I know all of the like versions of the songs she does that are different than the studio version, like all like the interlude versions of the songs. For Swifties out there, the very best one she does is the illicit affairs where it's like, don't call me kid, don't call me baby. She does it like 4 times and it's like she's on the ground like flailing around. And that is my favorite part of the Eras tour by far. And also the beginning when all these guys are out there with fans and then all of a sudden they put the fans down and then they lift them up and she's there and she goes, it's been a long time coming. That's like so exciting. Yeah. What's your favorite parts of the show?
It's a spectacle. The whole show is a spectacle. It's
my mom, I just keep looking at my mom and she just goes, she's so cute.
She's so cute.
She is so amazing.
She just is.
She is.
There's no doubt about it. That show is probably the best production I've ever seen of anything.
It's insane. Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of concerts.
There's lights. There's
but her
stages
talent,
moving.
It's just so affecting everyone in the whole place. Everybody is just freaking out.
And her voice is so good. There's no like, she's not phoning in anything. There's no backing vocals.
And effortless. I mean, she looks like she's...
But let's talk about the elephant in the room. And that is what would bring us to Why Do I Care?
Why do I care?
Okay, Noah, let's hear the headline because there's a lot that went down this weekend in Taylor Swift's love life or speculation of it.
Okay, so the latest headline is Taylor Swift and Matt Healy like each other, were reconnected by Jack Antonoff, sources say.
Oh, I didn't hear that, but I assumed that. I will only speak to what I know that the general public knows, and I will not speak to anything I might know from people who know things behind the scenes.
Oh, you do
I don't
know.
I may or may not, but Swifties do not want to accept that Matt Healy and Taylor Swift are together.
I don't blame them.
Why?
I don't know.
Who is Matt Healy? Can someone
He's from the 1975, which is a band that Taylor Swift is a huge fan of and has been friendly with for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually made an appearance at their show in February, I think, January or February, where she did, she performed Anti-Hero and then she performed one of the 1975 songs, The City. And I noticed that night that she was spectacular. And there was, I have to say, as someone who has performed in front of boys I like, there's a certain
you could tell
je ne sais quoi that I bring to the performance when I think Chris is watching or like a guy I like is watching. I just have something else going on. Like that honestly motivates me more than anything is when a guy I like is watching me. It's like the best thing for my performance possible. And I sensed something from those performances even then that there was someone special there.
Wait, where did you see this?
Online.
Okay.
So it's a game I actually, from that appearance, so the 1975 were doing a concert and she walks out on stage in the middle of it they give her a couple songs in the middle of it. And when she walks out on stage, I wanted to play a game called Terrorist Attack or Taylor Swift is walking out on stage because the audience screams as if there is a mass shooter in the building. I mean, it's bananas, these screams. You can barely even watch the video because it's just, people are like just shredding their voices screaming. It's really,
well, I was in the crowd
me.
When she was walking on stage. People are so loud.
So loud. And they really do wreak havoc on their voices.
Oh my God.
It's bad for your voice to be that excited. But anyway, so Matt Healy was at the shows in Nashville this weekend, okay? He was the night before on Thursday night or whatever Thursday was in Manila. He was in the Philippines. Is that the Philippines, Manila?
Uh-huh.
He was doing a concert there with the 1975. He jumped on the first flight out. He was spotted at the airport by a fan. He was on the first flight out to Nashville. You know, it was probably connecting. I don't think they have direct from Manila. So he made it to the show. He was at the show. He was spotted in the VIP tent enjoying her set. Swifties want to convince themselves they're just friends. Sorry, guys. They are definitely together. Stop being in denial. Mom and dad are never getting back together. There's a new guy in town. It's just, it's happening. And everyone's saying he's problematic because he's said things before that are like, he's dated younger girls. It's like, you're allowed to date a 19-year-old. I don't care what age you are. They're
Right.
legal. I'm
That's
sorry.
right. That's
It's not
right.
problematic. It's annoying.
Well, how
and I
old
can
is
make
he?
fun of it. He's 33.
Yeah, you can date a 19.
Anyone can.
Yeah.
They're legal, unfortunately. 18-year-olds, you can date them. It's like, you can think that's problematic all you want, but it's not illegal, okay?
Right.
Unless, and 16 is not illegal in many states, which is just disgusting. But you can think it's disgusting, but it's not illegal, and she's not doing anything wrong by dating someone. And he said some things in the past. He's just a rock star who says stupid, drunken things sometimes.
Right.
He's not really problematic. He's not a terrible person. Shut up. Let her have fun. He's someone that she admires. He's a rock star who she obviously shares something in common with as being a prolific artist. He's cool. He's kind of like offbeat. He's a little just like rough around the edges. Let her have some fun. I do believe they are in love because the biggest thing that I saw after that show on Friday night, and this one was like, whoa. So in Manila, I guess it was from his performance, 2 nights prior. He at one point mouthed, this next one's for you. You know who you are. I love you. And then he sang a song that some people are saying could have been about Taylor Swift because it's a song about a girl. All right.
Okay.
And then on our show, which I did remember seeing right before Cardigan, the song, Taylor's mouthing something. I couldn't make it out. Later on TikTok, they put them both together. She goes, this one's for you. You know who you are. I love you. It's giving me chills on my back of my head.
Oh.
They mouth the same
That's
things. They both know what they're doing. They aren't trolling you. They aren't making fun of the fact that there are rumors about them. They are confirming it. They were spotted together in a car on Saturday night too. They are together. And then she sang Cardigan, which the song is called, in the song, it's, and you'd come back to me, and you come back to me. It's all about a guy coming back to her. And they dated before. No one really confirmed it. It was always like, there were suspicions that they dated. They did date before her and Joe were together. So it makes sense that she would sing that song.
Okay.
They are together. Let her have fun. What he's said in the past is not a reflection of who she is. And he's just a rock star guy. Let her, I don't know.
All right, I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
Let him go.
Joe, why should she suffer and, just
No, everyone's
Cry
like,
over-
everyone hated Joe when they first got together.
Oh,
Everyone just wants her to themselves.
Yeah.
Unless she can be with me,
yeah.
I don't want her with anyone. And who is she supposed to be with that has never said one problematic thing in their life? Everyone is problematic. Everyone.
Isn't it true the band's called 1975 because he won't date anybody who was born before then?
Good one.
So, yes, they are together. I don't have that confirmed by any inside sources or anything, but I have eyes and ears and a working brain. And from what I can tell, they are together. She is not trolling anyone. And it was also rumored that Taylor Swift is coming out with a book that will be released in July. And that is very, very exciting.
Wow.
And it did send me into a kind of depression spiral yesterday because I'm like, Taylor Swift can write a book and write 4 albums in a pandemic. I can barely read a book or like listen to an album in that time.
I
It's
was
like
just gonna say
memorizing her
that.
albums was enough work for me. And I just, as much as I want a book from her, I'm just like, can you just wait a couple years and stop being so goddamn prolific?
Yeah.
It's just too much pressure for the rest of us. No one can be this good.
She's
Paul
adorable.
McCartney.
But she is.
When
She's-
Dad and I get into fights about the Beatles or whether Paul McCartney or Taylor Swift, it's like it's not even a funny
He's
joke.
coming around, Nick.
Yeah, he better. He is.
Yeah, because that's all I do is play Taylor Swift now, and And he's imitating her a lot.
Yeah, because
He's jealous.
He's so jealous. He can't stand that someone actually is as good as his beloved Paul McCartney. Okay, we got to go. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. We will be back tomorrow. Don't you even think we won't? And I'm going to be in Europe coming up very soon. Check out my tour dates. If you are in or around the Europe area, you know that I will be in like 14 cities just next week, but all before June 1st, my birthday. So it's the last month of my tour before I'm 39, and I would really like to see you guys on the road. I won't be able to do meet and greets, unfortunately, at these shows, but I will look out in the audience and see your lovely faces, and I really wish you would come see me. I cannot wait. Thank you for listening to the show. Don't be and just let her date who she wants.
Right.
Right?
Right.